On the southwest border, war between the 9 provinces calmed down. The fortresses were secured. Each of the impenetrable fortresses instilled fear into the enemies. At that moment, within one of the big buildings, a ruler observed a young man. A scowl creased his face. "Are you really planning to return to the Middle Province? You'd like to keep this position of supreme warrior a secret for now." As the ruler, the old man stared into the eyes of the man in front of him. His gaze was filled with respect. Behind the young man were the recently anointed 9 great gods of war. The 9 great gods of war were meritorious. In just 5 years' time, they contributed greatly. Their existence struck fear into their enemies' hearts. The 9 great gods of war were given the official title as gods of war. They enjoyed matchless power and wealth, and would soon be returning to the 9 provinces, each ruling over a province of their own. They had the power to decide life and death. However, at that moment, the 9 great gods of war stood humbly behind the young man. Fane Wood, the one bestowed by Daxia with the title of Supreme Warrior. His authority was beyond that of the gods of war, the most exalted. Daxia was shocked. The media originally planned to officially announce the identities of the 9 great gods of war along with the Supreme Warrior. However, for some reason, they had only announced the identity of the 9 great gods of war. As for the Supreme Warrior's identity, it became a mystery. I wonder how Selena is doing now? Since it's settled here, they don't need me anymore. The hint of a gentle smile finally appeared on that man's chiseled face. Selena was his woman, his wife. "Master, can we go with you to meet our master's wife?" Behind him, one of the 9 great gods of war, Abner Young, asked curiously. If people found out that the 9 great gods of war behind Fane, with their outstanding service, were his disciples, who knew what their reaction would be? "Let's talk about that some other time." Fane sighed, seemingly falling into a pensive mood. 5 years ago, the enemies counterattacked. Daxia suffered heavy losses and coned warriors from all over the country. The Middle Province's Taylor family were trapped by some scheme, forcing the Taylor family to enroll one of their younger generations to set an example for the Middle Province city. Old Master Taylor was advanced in age, Master Taylor had to maintain order, and young Master Taylor was the only one from the younger generation. He was the only male heir. Naturally, old Master Taylor was against having his only grandson to fight on the battlefield, as he feared having his bloodline ended. However, the Taylor family could not back out of this. Coincidentally, the delivery boy Fane appeared right then. Old Master Taylor had a sudden epiphany and made Fane marry into the Taylor family by faking a marriage with the Taylor family's second daughter. That allowed Fane to head to the battlefield in young Master Taylor's stead as a member of the Taylor family. Of course, Fane had his own conditions as well. It was to have old Master Taylor pay him $1 million for his sick mother's treatment. Very quickly, the Taylor family's second daughter was forced to marry Fane, the delivery boy. That simple wedding ceremony made Selena Taylor into the joke of the century. On the night of the wedding, the dispirited Selena ended up being the one to initiate the marriage consummation with Fane after becoming drunk. The next morning, she cried. On the same morning, Fane was enlisted by the army. That parting lasted 5 years. Over the course of 5 years, Fane had experienced countless life and death situations. However, he managed to endure those hardships with the thought of Selena waiting for him at home. In 5 years, he transformed from the bastard son of the family into a major figure. "Selena, don't you worry. I'll definitely honor my responsibility for you." Fane gripped his fists. With the thought of meeting Selena soon, his usually tranquil heart felt a twinge of excitement. For days later, a private plane descended slowly onto Middle Province International Airport. Middle Province. What a nostalgic place. Stepping foot onto this land once again, the corner of Fane's mouth showed the hint of a smile. Fane looked at Lana Zex, then stated slowly, "From the moment I left the southwestern battlefield, I'm no longer the Supreme Warrior. From now on, you can just call me brother." "Yes, Mas, Brother Fane." Lana nodded. She was assigned to Middle Province and would be stationed here. She was happy to be returning here with her master. An eye-catching Rolls-Royce Phantom with the plate A99999 was at the airport exit. There was a bodyguard with sunglasses that respectfully opened the car door as a person in his 40s came out. If anyone from a higher class were to find out that this person was Mason Drake, the richest person in Middle Province, their jaws would surely hit the ground. A person that could compel Mason to personally pick him up from the airport was obviously no ordinary person. Today will be worth it if I can see the face of the Queen of Hell, Mason lamented. He knew full well what a god of war represented. Just as he finished his sentence, a man and woman nearby walked toward him. Goddess of war, Queen of Hell, Lana Zex is here, exclaimed one of the bodyguards respectfully as he saw them. Let's go. Mason adjusted his shirt. For the first time, he walked over ever so carefully toward Lana. Mason Drake of the Drake family from Middle Province welcomes the Goddess of War's return. We've already prepared the War God's residence for you. Here's a black card. I hope the Goddess of War likes it. Mason led his men to Lana, bowing slightly as he passed her a black card. However, Lana frowned and calmly stated, "Your information source is quite good, as expected of the Middle Province's richest person." With that said, she casually looked at the black card and laughed coldly. "Since you've arranged a place for me to stay, I'll oblige. As for this card, you can save it for yourself." "Yes, of course." Mason wiped away his cold sweat before daring to raise his head. He then kept the black card. "This is..." Mason looked at Fane as he probed with a question. "We're just comrades that joined the army together. It's by chance that I'm returning to Middle Province and we kept each other company. You guys go on. I'll grab a taxi and head back." Fane smiled faintly, then looked at Lana. "Keep in contact on the phone." "Of course." Lana nodded in response. Upon hearing the exchange, Mason's heart skipped a beat. That was the private plane to send the gods of war. For this person to return alongside the Queen of Hell, his background was definitely something special. Furthermore, to his surprise, the way Lana looked at that man was filled with respect. Very soon, a taxi was parked outside the gate of a row of villas. That was where the Taylor family was located. Fane, having been through countless life and death situations, could not help but smile bitterly as he looked upon the villa's gates. Back then, if not for old Master Taylor's threat with his own life, Selena would not have been willing to marry him. It was also due to the Taylor family's irresponsible attitude toward her marriage that caused her to feel disappointed, that led to her getting drunk and having developed relations with a little delivery boy like him. Although the marriage was originally a fake one, Selena had lost her virginity to him. Just before he departed, she told him that she would wait for his return. That touched Fane greatly. At that moment, Fane had finally returned. As Fane reminisced, a little girl with a dirty face walked up to the gates and sneakily looked inside. The little girl was rather skinny. She seemed to be 4 or 5 years old with a slightly yellowish skin tone. It would seem that she was malnourished. This little girl. Those eyes resemble Selena's. Seeing the girl's cute appearance, Fane could not resist smiling. A maid of the Taylor family came out. She looked at the guards standing by the door and pulled the little girl to another corner. For some reason, maybe due to the likeness of the girl's look with Selena, Fane's interest was piqued. He slowly walked up to them. He then witnessed the maid carefully fish out 2 buns from her pockets and pass it to the little girl. "Kylie, there's only 2 today." "Thank you, pretty sister." The little girl swallowed her saliva as her stomach growled. It was obvious that she was famished. "Hurry up, eat it." The maid patted the little girl's head. "Sigh. Young Master Taylor is just too mean." "No. I'll take this home and eat it with Mommy, Grandpa, and Grandma." The little girl took the buns before smiling blissfully. For her, the 2 buns in her hands were akin to this world's greatest treasures. A sports car quickly pulled over beside them, followed by half a dozen Audi A6s as well. "Ivan Taylor?" Fane recognized the man immediately. After 5 years, young Master Taylor had grown up. However, the changes were minimal. He was still as sheltered as before. "Hee, Shauna, what are you hiding there? Take it out and show it to me," Ivan asked with a grin on his face. Nothing." The maid repeatedly shook her head. Meanwhile, Little Kylie lowered her head as though she had just made a mistake. Kylie, please tell me, what did this pretty sister just pass to you? Ivan crouched down and asked the little girl. I won't tell you. You're a bad man. A very bad man. Kylie raised her head with her lips pursed. A bad man? Ivan chuckled. Your mother ruined our Taylor family's name by giving birth to you. Your mother is the evil one. With that said, Ivan stood up and shot a look at the two guards. Shauna, you're quite brazen. How dare you pass food to this little bastard? Do you have a death wish? Ivan smiled coldly, then instantly sent a backhanded slap at Shauna's face. Don't hit pretty sister, you meanie. Seeing that, the little girl immediately ran over and latched onto Ivan's leg, giving it a big bite. Ah! Ivan screamed in pain and pushed Kylie to the floor. Are you born in the year of the dog? You wild dog. How dare you bite me? Sobi, Sobi. You're a bad person. You're very bad. Kylie was pushed to the floor and started crying. Here's the buns your pretty sister gave you. Come on, eat it. You and your pretty sister get one each. He then threw the buns onto the floor and stomped them with his leather shoes. Ivan then stated, if you don't eat, I'll break her hands and yours too. Young master, I'll eat it. Don't make it difficult for the little one, please. I beg of you. Kylie is still Miss Selena's daughter. Selena is your cousin. Shauna knelt on the floor and grabbed the buns as she looked up at the high and mighty Ivan Taylor with a pitiful expression. Selena's daughter? Hearing those words, Fane's mind was blown. How did Selena end up with a daughter? Furthermore, Selena was a daughter of Master Taylor. How could her daughter be like a beggar? Didn't she say that she would wait for me? Could it be that she remarried that quickly after I went to war? Fane's eyes turned red. He laughed bitterly in his heart and felt he was naive. He naively thought that Selena would really wait for him. Ha! Her father has long died on the battlefield for who knows how many years. This is just a bastard. Furthermore, we initially arranged for Selena to fake her marriage to that useless delivery boy. Turns out she had actually gotten pregnant with that trash's kid. We told her to abort the baby, but she insisted on keeping it. Her fate today was all well-deserved. This is the fate of someone that soils our family's name. Ivan laughed out loudly. At that point, Fane's heart was in turmoil. This dirty little girl with patchy clothes was his own daughter? He clenched his fists as fury took over him. Just what did Selena experience in the past 5 years? Are you eating it? If you don't eat it, don't even think about leaving. Ivan grabbed one of the dirty buns he stomped on and lifted Kylie with one hand. He then stuffed the bun into the little girl's mouth. Sobi, Sobi. You big meanie. I won't eat. I won't eat. The little girl's feet kicked about in the air, one of them landing on Ivan's clothes. Motherfucker, you're asking for death. Do you know how expensive my clothes are? Ivan looked at it, then forcefully flung Kylie aside. You beast. He's your niece. Fane's veins bulged from his temples. Kylie was petite. If she was thrown like that and hit the ground, how could she be fine? He took a step, then turned into a blur and appeared in front of Ivan. He then extended his arms to catch Kylie, who was just thrown away. Ah! Kylie was in shock. She opened her big googly eyes and stared at the brave-looking man. Uncle, who are you? Kylie stared at Fane, obviously scared. Don't be scared, Kylie. Nobody will dare bully you, or your mother, in the future. Fane's heart trembled as a familial feeling washed over him. This was his own daughter. This was his daughter with Selena. Who the FCK is this? How dare you stick your nose in the Taylor family's business? Ivan was extremely pissed after being caught by surprise. In the span of 5 years, Fane went through a big change. He transformed from an ordinary delivery boy into the one and only supreme warrior of Dacia. Ivan was unable to recognize him in that brief moment. I'm definitely getting involved in this matter today. Fane shot him a cold glare. His aura that was stained with countless bloodshed caused Ivan to take a few steps back out of fear. Kylie, don't be afraid. I'll protect you. Fane lovingly looked at Kylie in his arms, then gently placed her back on the ground. What are you f***ing doing standing in a daze? Go break his limbs. Taking a look at the tall, strong guards, Ivan felt confident. Brat, you're really brazen. How dare you stick your nose in young Master Taylor's matters? Around a dozen experts surrounded Fane. Bang, bang, bang. Unfortunately, before Ivan could see clearly, the guards were all lying on the ground. Ah, my hand is broken. My leg. My leg. With the guards lying on the floor, Ivan was scared and the color drained from his face. BB Brat, who are you? I'm the Taylor family's young master. Things won't end well for you if you offend me. Ivan swallowed hard, his voice trembling. Who am I? Hee. I'm the one that went to the battlefield in your place. Fane's gaze was intimidating. Ivan Taylor, I fought your battle for you and faced death in your stead. There were dozens of times where I almost lost my life. Yet here you are, feeding my daughter with a bun that you've stomped on.
You refane? Impossible.
It's been 5 years without any news. How could you have come back alive? Ivan was scared witless. Not only the Taylor family, but the people of Middle Province City had thought that Fane had died. According to the reports, the battle a few years back was just too brutal with too many casualties. I'm sorry, but fate is on my side. I can't die. Fane sneered, then immediately sent him a kick. Ivan fell down, kneeling on the ground. The pain in his knees caused him to yell in pain. Eat those 2 buns. Otherwise, I don't care if you're Selena's cousin or not. I'll butcher you like the animal you are. Fane took the 2 dirt-covered buns and threw them in front of Ivan with a merciless gaze in his eyes. Fane, are you fing crazy? Don't forget your own identity. You're only someone that married into our family. Don't think that just because you've been a soldier for a few years, you can play around with me with that little extra strength. Ivan gritted his teeth and tried to stand up. Bang! Fane responded with a kick and pushed him back down, dusting up the area. I'm not going to repeat my words. Fane kept a foot on the back of Ivan's hand. Ah! Ivan shrieked. He felt as though his bones were being crushed. Starred. Ivan raised his head and was scared speechless when he looked up to meet Fane's merciless glare. Are you eating it or not? If you don't, I'll kill you right now. Fane declared coldly. Eat. I'll eat it. This time Ivan was utterly terrified by Fane. Although his heart was unwilling, he could not help but take bites off the dirt-covered buns, stuffing it into his mouth. Shauna, thank you for your care of Kylie. Is Selena in there? Fane walked up to the maid. Remembering that Shauna used to be Selena's personal maid that was very close to her. Miss was exiled from the Taylor family. The family was against her giving birth to Kylie and she disobeyed them. That's why. Shauna's eyes filled with tears as she recounted the event. Let's go. Bring me to her. Fane picked Kylie up. Kylie, nobody will dare pick on you in the future. Pretty sister. Who is he? Kylie was spooked by the earlier scene. It was obvious that she was still scared. Kylie, he's your dad. Quickly call Daddy. He's not dead. He's back. Shauna teared up as she explained. Over the past 5 years, Selena's life was horrible. Why, you're really my daddy? Kylie pursed her lips as her eyes brightened. They said my daddy is dead. Are you really my daddy? Mommy told me that Daddy is definitely still alive. Mommy told me that if Daddy is back, we won't have to pick up trash again. Fane teared up immediately. Despite his 7-foot height and being the only supreme warrior of Dacia, his eyes turned red with tears. Shauna, why you should make your choice properly. If you dare walk out of our Taylor residence, you'll lose your job. You should know how many people are fighting for the chance to be a maid of the Taylor family. Ivan shouted after he finally finished the 2 buns. You're full of nonsense. Fane gave him a kick, sending him a few meters away. Ivan spat out a mouthful of blood and passed out. Good. This Mina deserves it. Kylie squealed excitedly as she witnessed the scene. I don't want this job. Let's go. Master Fane, I'll bring your Miss Selena. Shauna steeled her heart, then looked toward Kylie and asked, Kylie, why aren't you greeting your daddy? Kylie lowered her head sheepishly. After a while, she finally spoke up with a sweet, innocent voice. Daddy. Good girl. Look at you covered with dirt. Let's go. I'll get you cleaned up and buy some clean clothes. Fane lovingly kissed Kylie on the forehead. He felt that his heart was all warmed up. This was his own flesh and blood. Very quickly, Fane brought Shauna and Kylie to the best bathhouse in the Middle Province. Master, it's very expensive here. Shauna reminded him softly. My daughter deserves to enjoy such treatment. Fane did not look up all the while. His loving gaze remained fixated at Kylie, who was in his arms. Sir, are you lost? This bathhouse does not welcome beggars. Just as they reached the door, a server chuckled as he looked at Kylie's dirty face. His gaze was filled with disgust. I know, Fane sternly warned. I'll give you 10 minutes. 10 minutes. The other party was confused. 10 minutes to clear this place up. I need to give my precious daughter a bath. The server chuckled. Sir, are you joking? We offer individual baths for over 1,000 people, and that's not including other activities. Unless you have around 80,000 bucks, I'm afraid you're just dreaming to have me clear this place. Having said that, the server paused for a moment before continuing. Looking at you, you're not someone that can fork out that much money. Furthermore, even if you have the money, you can't expect us to render our services to a beggar, right? Fane's expression darkened. The surrounding had seemingly dropped a few degrees. Say that again. Your daughter is so dirty. Is she not a beggar? Bang! The server was sent flying with a kick. FCKU, what are you trying to do? Do you know what place this is? The server climbed back up and shouted. Guys, someone is here to cause trouble. WTF, this place is under the Clark family's jurisdiction. Is this fella crazy? He dares to start trouble here. That's right. We can't help it if he's here to court death. A few customers shook their heads as they witnessed the scene. One should know that luxurious bathhouses like this one were naturally backed by powerful forces, to the extent that they might have the power to cause the entire Middle Province to tremble under their feet. Very soon, a group of sturdy men rushed in. Who dares to cause trouble at our place? One of them shouted. He was a burly man. This territory belongs to the Clark family. You're quite brave to dare cause trouble here, said another guy. My daughter is not a beggar. It's fine if you humiliate me. If anyone dares to offend my daughter, it won't end well for them. All these years, his daughter must have gone through much suffering. Fane was only hoping to make it up to her and Selena. Kid, it's you. You're quite daring. Do you know who I am? I'm Black Dragon of Middle Province, General of the Clark family. Kneel and admit your wrongdoing right now. Then get out of my sight. My establishment doesn't serve ill-dressed folks, nor do we serve stinking beggars. Your daughter is definitely a beggar. The burly man took 2 steps forward with an arrogant look on his face. What? He's Black Dragon? TCH, I heard that he's a fearsome fighter. All his achievements came from his kills. Once, he managed to kill over 100 people and saved Master Clark's life. That story was spread all over the streets. Some onlookers took a few steps back, feeling scared. They felt a sense of dread welling up from within. You want me to kneel to you? Fane was astonished. I'm afraid the one that dares to have me kneel is not born yet. I've already forgotten how many people I've killed. Interesting. You dare act tough in front of me. Ha ha ha. I'm afraid you weren't even born yet when I started chopping others with my saber. Black Dragon laughed out loud. I'm sorry, kid. I know full well how many people of great power there are in Middle Province. Coincidentally, you're not on that list. Today, you'll get to know me. Just as he finished his sentence, there was a flash of light. Black Dragon fell down just like that. Black Dragon remained laying on the ground, his eyes filled with surprise. He was no longer breathing. Silence enveloped the area. This is bad. BB Black Dragon is dead. Someone shouted in fear after taking a look.